Let me make something clear right now. Life doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care that you're tired. It doesn't care that you had a rough childhood. It doesn't care about your bad luck. Every challenge that stands in front of you is a test, not a punishment. And the only ones who win are the ones who push through, not the ones who whine, complain, and wait for mercy. You're not here to be average. You're not here to fold when life applies pressure. You're here to dominate. When you're up at 5 a.m. grinding while everyone else is sleeping, that's not a sacrifice. That's a statement. It says, I'm not like the rest of you. I don't need comfort. I crave progress. You think champions don't struggle? You think warriors don't feel fear? The difference is they move anyway. They push when it hurts. They act when it's uncomfortable. And they win because of it. So what if you're broke? So what if you failed before? Are you going to let your past define your future? You've got two choices. Fold like the weak or rise like the elite. There's no in between. Stand up. Take control. Be relentless. Every time life knocks you down, get back up with twice the power. This isn't motivational fluff. This is war. And every day you either conquer or get conquered. Now make your choice, because nobody's coming to save you. Let's get one thing straight. Excuses don't build empires. They don't get you in shape, they don't grow your bank account, and they sure as hell don't earn respect. The moment you let an excuse out of your mouth, you're admitting defeat before the fight even starts. People love to say, I would have done it, but stop. The second you say, ups, everything you said before becomes worthless. You didn't do it, period. That's all that matters. Nobody successful is sitting around swapping stories about what they could have done. They talk results, they talk action, and they talk wins. The brutal truth is this: life doesn't hand out rewards for effort. It rewards execution. If you don't show up and produce, you lose. So whether it's business, fitness, relationships, or your mindset, nobody's going to clap for you just because you had it tough. Everyone's fighting something. Everyone's carrying a weight. The difference is some people push through with that weight on their shoulders, and others use it as a reason to stay stuck. One gets ahead, the other stays behind. Guess which one people respect? You want to talk about being tired? So is the next guy. You want to cry about how unfair things are? Take a number. Life isn't fair. It never was, and it never will be. Fairness is a fantasy sold to the weak to make them feel better about losing. If you're waiting for conditions to be perfect, for someone to understand your pain, for the stars to align, you'll be waiting forever. The strong don't wait. They adapt, they act, and they move forward regardless. They know excuses are just lies they tell themselves to stay the same. Look at the world. It doesn't stop moving because you had a bad day. It doesn't slow down because you're not feeling motivated. You either keep up or get left behind. That's the truth most people run from. They wrap themselves in comfort, in sympathy, in victimhood, and wonder why nothing changes. It's because they've mistaken emotion for execution. The world rewards the doers, not the dreamers who never act. Excuses are the chains that keep people average. Break them or wear them, your choice. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce weakness. You tell your mind it's okay to quit. And the more you quit, the more it becomes your identity. Soon you're not just making excuses, you are an excuse. That's where most people live. Stuck, frustrated, jealous of others who made the same hard choices they refused to make. You want change. Kill the excuses. Starve them. Replace them with discipline, hunger, and action. Only then will you start living like someone who actually wants to win. Most people see a challenge and immediately go into victim mode. Why me? Why is this happening? That mindset is poison. Challenges aren't punishments. They're invitations. They're the universe, the world, or whatever you want to call it, putting you through a necessary filter. It's saying, you want to be better. Prove it. Every hard moment is a test to see if you're serious, or if you're just another loud mouth who folds when pressure shows up. That pain you're feeling, it's not the end. It's the gateway, but only if you're bold enough to walk through. Understand something right now. Every champion you admire was forged in fire. They weren't handed a throne. They earned it by surviving chaos, setbacks, and pressure that would break most people. That's what separates the elite from the average. Life doesn't make things easy because it wants to see what you'll do when it's hard. That's the moment that counts. That's the defining chapter in your story. Not when things go well, but when they fall apart and you keep showing up. That's the test. Most fail it. You don't have to. Challenges are filters. Weak people get sifted out because they fold. Strong ones stay in the game, get smarter, tougher, and sharper. You don't level up by cruising. You level up by getting knocked on your ass and standing back up anyway. That's the real game. Anyone can show up when things are smooth. But life isn't about smooth. It's about pressure, resistance, and discomfort. So when it hits, don't whine. Lean in. Every obstacle is a doorway to the next level. And most people never open it because they're too scared to suffer. You've got to rewire your brain to see adversity as opportunity. That's how winners think. They're not hoping life goes easy. They're building themselves to go hard because they know strength comes from struggle. They know pressure creates diamonds. They know no one respects the guy who breaks under stress. People follow the one who handles storms like it's Tuesday. So the next time you face a challenge, you better ask yourself, is this where I break? Or is this where I become unbreakable? It's all perspective. The same storm that drowns one man sharpens another into a beast. What's the difference? Mindset. One sees punishment. The other sees potential. One complains. The other conquers. The test isn't whether life gets tough. It will. The test is whether you're going to toughen up with it or tap it. And that decision gets made every single time you're hit with resistance. Challenges are coming either way. The only question is, what are you going to do about them? Comfort is the biggest trap society has ever sold you. It's wrapped in soft words like a self-care and a balance, but what it really means is stagnation. You don't grow in comfort, you decay there. Discipline, on the other hand, is brutal, cold, unglamorous, and it works. Discipline wakes you up when your body says sleep. It makes you move when your feelings say rest. It ignores mood, ignores motivation, and operates purely on decision. That's why discipline wins. Because it's not emotional, it's execution. Everyone wants the result, but no one wants the process. They want the body without the gym. They want the money without the grind. They want the respect without the sacrifice. Comfort feeds that fantasy. Discipline shatters it. You don't rise by doing what feels good. You rise by doing what's necessary. Every day, every hour, your life is shaped by one of two forces, comfort or discipline. One pulls you toward mediocrity, the other drags you, sometimes kicking and screaming, toward greatness. Discipline is the real freedom. Sounds backwards, doesn't it? But think about it. When you're disciplined, you control your body. You control your time. You control your outcomes. That's power. Comfort gives you a temporary high, a dopamine hit, but it owns you. It's why people binge, procrastinate, spiral, because they chose momentary relief over long-term results. The world is full of people who surrendered to comfort and now walk around bitter, broke, and out of shape. That's not freedom. That's a slow death. Look around you. The ones at the top, the ones you admire, the ones you envy, they aren't more talented. They're just more consistent. They got where they are by showing up when they didn't feel like it, over and over again, because they made discipline a lifestyle, not a mood. Motivation fades, feelings change, but discipline doesn't care. It shows up regardless, and that's what separates the attriers from the doers. One hopes, the other executes. You want to change your life? You want to win? Then stop negotiating with your feelings. Stop giving comfort a vote in decisions that shape your future. Wake up early when it's hard. Train when you're tired. Study when you're bored. Build when you're uninspired. That's the formula. Not glamorous, not exciting, but it works. And the truth is, most people know what they should do. They're just too soft to do it. Discipline fixes that. Discipline rewires you to act, not wish. And that's where the transformation begins. Pain is the price of admission to anything worth having. You want strength? It's going to hurt. You want growth? You better be ready to bleed. Every breakthrough you're chasing is hiding behind a wall of discomfort. And most people never reach it because they flinch at the first sign of struggle. Pain scares the average man. But to the one who's locked in, to the one who's hungry, pain is the compass. It tells you you're on the right path. Because nothing powerful comes easy. Nothing real is handed out free. Pain is proof that you're doing something that matters. The reason most people stay stuck is because they've spent their whole life trying to avoid pain instead of learning how to use it. They numb it with distractions, food, drugs, scrolling, comfort, excuses, anything to not feel uncomfortable. And guess what? That avoidance becomes a cage. The pain doesn't go away. It just compounds. It turns into regret, resentment, wasted time. But when you face it head on, when you embrace it instead of running from it, it transforms you. Pain becomes your forge. It's where character is built and weakness is melted down. You don't level up when things feel good. You level up when your body's sore, your mind's tired, and your emotions are screaming at you to quit. And you don't. That's where strength is born. When you push through the pain, you build resilience. And resilience is the superpower that separates the top 1% from everybody else. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about how much pain you can endure without breaking and still show up swinging. People who thrive are not pain-free. They're just pain-proven. The world will test you. You'll lose people. You'll lose money. You'll fail. You'll fall. That's part of the process. That's not a glitch. That's the game. Pain is the toll you pay to pass through those gates. Every scar has a story. Every tear has a lesson. But you only get the reward if you go through it, not around it. Trying to bypass the struggle is exactly why most people end up watching from the sidelines while someone else takes what they were too afraid to earn. So stop wishing for easy. Stop praying for painless. That's not the path of a warrior. That's the path of the warrior. That's the path of the weak. You want something great? Then expect pain. Welcome it. Use it. Because when the pressure hits and the pain kicks in, that's when your real self shows up. The disciplined self. The savage. The focused one who doesn't fold, doesn't cry, doesn't... That version of you is buried under layers of comfort and fear, and pain is the only thing strong enough to pull it out. Fear is part of the process. Get used to it. It's not some weakness unique to you. It's not a sign you're broken. It's biology. Everyone feels fear when they step into unknown territory. You're not special because you're scared. You're human. The difference between losers and winners isn't fear. It's what they do while they're afraid. The ones who win don't wait for the fear to disappear. They move through it. They use it like fuel. They show up, heart pounding, stomach twisted, palms sweating. They act anyway. People waste their whole lives waiting to feel ready. That's a myth. You will never feel ready. Not to start the business, not to take the risk, not to stand up and say what needs to be said. That feeling you're waiting for, confidence, clarity, courage, it doesn't come before the action. It comes after it. You don't think your way into confidence. You earn it by doing the thing that scares the hell out of you. Every single time you choose action over fear, you gain strength. Every single time you hesitate, you hand power back to fear. Let's make something clear. Fear doesn't go away just because you're successful. In fact, the more you grow, the bigger the risks, the higher the stakes. So if you can't master fear now, while you're still building, what makes you think you'll handle it when everything's on the line? Fear doesn't respect money, status, or comfort. It shows up at every level. So you better build the habit now, feel the fear, and move anyway. The ones who dominate this life aren't fearless. They're fear-trained. Fear wants you frozen. It wants you silent. It wants you stuck in overthinking, analyzing, predicting all the ways it could go wrong. That's its strategy, to keep you caged in safety and mediocrity. But you're not built for that. You're built to act. You're built to take the swing, even if your knees are shaking. Because action kills fear faster than any motivational quote ever will. The second you move, the second you take a breath and do something, you take power back. And the more you do it, the smaller fear becomes. Stop waiting to stop being scared. That moment doesn't exist. The voice in your head that says, "What if I fail?" Ignore it. The only thing worse than failure is regret. Regret doesn't sting for a day. It eats at you for years. So make the move. Say yes. Take the shot. Push the... That's what separates the ones who get remembered from the ones who disappear quietly. Fear is natural, but it's your job to take action anyway. That's the rule. No debate. No compromise. Your past is not your prison unless you choose to stay locked inside it. Too many people drag around their old mistakes like dead weight. They use their past as an excuse to stay stuck, weak, or small. I've always been like this, they say. I messed up too many times, they whisper to themselves. That's loser talk. The past is done. Happened. Good or bad, it's not your future. What you did 5 years ago, 5 months ago, or 5 minutes ago does not dictate who you can become, unless you keep choosing to live there. Look, maybe you were lazy. Maybe you were broke. Maybe you were addicted, undisciplined, lost, confused, reckless. So what? That was a version of you that no longer exists unless you keep resurrecting it. You are not obligated to be who you once were. You get to decide who you become next. The only people who stay trapped in the past are the ones who keep telling themselves the same old story. Change the story. Change the outcome. You can rewrite the script anytime, but only if you stop worshiping your history and start building your destiny. Your mistakes are lessons, not life sentences. Every failure you've had, every dark moment you faced gave you information, data, strategy. But if you let shame or guilt bury you, you miss the point. Your past was supposed to prepare you, not paralyze you. Champions use pain as fuel. They take every wrong turn and turn it into wisdom. They don't deny what happened. They own it. They say, yeah, I was there, but I didn't stay there. That's power, not hiding from your past, but dominating because of it. Too many people chain their identity to what they used to be. You hear it all the time. I've always been this way. Nonsense. You've always chosen to be that way. Big difference. Who you are is who you decide to be today. Not what your family said, not what your ex thought, not what you used to believe about yourself when you were broken and confused. Every single day is a clean slate if you've got the guts to step into it. You can't move forward while staring in the rearview mirror. Let the past burn behind you. So stop apologizing for who you were and start proving who you are now. The people who doubted you, left you, wrote you off. Good. Let them watch. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe yourself results. And those results start the moment you stop letting the past make decisions for your future. You're not here to repeat your history. You're here to rewrite it. And that starts with one choice. Stop dragging your past around like an identity. It's not who you are. It was just training. Life doesn't care about your plan. It cares about your response. The world changes fast. Things break. People leave. Deals fall through. Your body gets tired. Unexpected problems show up out of nowhere. That's the game. And in that moment, you've got two options: adapt or complain. That's it. One gets you closer to the win. The other makes you weaker. Winners don't waste time moaning about what should have happened. They adjust, pivot, and move. Because at the end of the day, the mission still stands, even if the path changes. Losers are addicted to the sound of their own complaints. They think talking about the problem is solving the problem. It's not. It's mental junk food. It feels good to rant, but it gets you nowhere. That's why most people stay stuck. They focus more on being heard than being effective. Winners are different. They analyze the setback, extract the lesson, and flip the script. They don't dwell. They don't spiral. They adapt. Because they know success isn't about everything going right. It's about staying right when everything goes wrong. The ability to adapt is survival in its highest form. In nature, the strongest species isn't the biggest or the fastest. It's the one that adapts. Same goes for business, relationships, fitness, mindset. Everything. You get hit with adversity, and if your only move is to complain, you've already lost. Winners stay calm. They recalibrate. They get surgical with their next move. While everyone else is whining, stalling, or quitting, they're already on plan B, C, or Z. Still pushing. That's what makes them dangerous. Excuses are comfortable. Adaptation is brutal, because adapting means taking responsibility. It means saying, this didn't go how I wanted, but I'm still going to win. That's a heavy mindset. That's why it's rare. But if you want to be elite, it's not optional. It's required. You've got to become bulletproof to curveballs. When the market shifts, when people betray you, when life kicks you sideways, you adjust. That's how you build dominance. Not by crying, but by recalculating, reloading, and returning harder than ever. Asleep? So the next time life punches you in the mouth, ask yourself one thing. Am I adapting or am I complaining? Because that answer reveals who you really are. Every complaint is wasted energy that could have been used to solve the problem. Winners refuse to sit in the mud. They get up, get creative, and keep going. That's the mindset that separates the wolves from the sheep. The adaptable rise. The complainers rot. Excuses are the bricks of failure. Stack enough of them, and you build a wall between you and everything you want. That's the truth no one wants to admit. You can't build a legacy, a body, a business, or a mindset with excuses. All they do is buy you comfort today and cost you greatness tomorrow. You either make progress or you make excuses, never both. And the second you let even one excuse slide, it breeds more. It becomes a habit, a pattern, a way of life. Before you know it, you're just another person who could have been something but never had the guts to get it done. People think their excuses are unique. You don't understand my situation. I've got it harder than others. Stop. Everybody's got a reason not to do the work. The strong don't deny the struggle. They just refuse to be owned by it. Life's not fair, and it never will be. But that's not your license to quit. That's your cue to rise. If you've got breath in your lungs, you've got a move to make. But as long as you're rehearsing excuses, you're robbing yourself of results. Excuses are just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. But instead of admitting that, people decorate their fear with clever justifications. I'm waiting for the right time. I need more information. I'll start when I feel ready. All lies. The right time is now. The information you need is earned by doing. And readiness. It shows up after you act, not before. Winners get that. That's why they make moves while everyone else makes excuses. Look at anyone who's built something real. They've had 1,000 chances to make excuses, and they took none of them. They were tired, broke, rejected, doubted, underestimated, and they kept going. That's the price. The world rewards execution, not explanation. It doesn't care how valid your excuses are. It only respects action. So you can either be impressive with your reasons, or you can be unstoppable with your results, but not both. Choose. Every time you open your mouth to explain why you couldn't, you're reinforcing weakness. You're casting a vote against your own potential. You're basically saying, this excuse is more important than my goals. Oh, let that sink in. Excuses don't build muscle. Excuses don't grow income. Excuses don't grow income. Excuses don't create freedom. Only discipline, grit, and ruthless consistency do. So kill the excuse, kill the delay, and go get what's yours, because no one else is going to build it for you. So now you've heard the truth. No sugarcoating, no hand-holding. Just the raw reality. Life is war, and you're either fighting or folding. Every challenge in your path was sent to test your mindset, not break your spirit. Pain, fear, failure, those aren't signs to stop. They're signals to level up, to evolve, to dominate. You don't need more motivation. You need more action. You don't need perfect timing. You need ruthless consistency. You don't need a smooth road. You need a stronger engine. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. You either push through every challenge or you get buried under them. You either become the kind of person who breaks limits or the one who keeps living inside them. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. So stand up, show up, lock in. And when the pressure hits, when your mind screams quit, when the world says to slow down, you go harder, you go louder, you go through, because that's what winners do.